So in this video, I want to talk about gushing over Magical Girls again. As I mentioned it, or talked about it a bit ago, and wasn't too long ago, talking about the chances of a Season 2 and how I felt that Season 2 was definitely going to happen, but it would take some time due to the fact that the anime and the manga, well, there just needed to be more manga material. The anime had covered too much of the manga. And of course, I saw a lot of people bringing up certain points that they felt that I didn't bring up in the video that somehow would change my opinion. And to note on some of those, one of those was people bringing up the author has gone on a bit of a hiatus due to illness, and that doesn't change anything on my variables. I knew about that when making the video, but as much as I could have noted on it, and it did partially slip my mind, it didn't change anything in the variables itself, because at the end of the day, it would take some time for there to be enough source material. It could be 1, 2, 3 years. Irrelevant of that, it would be some time down the road, and it wouldn't be any time soon. A lot of people think soon means within 3-6 months, and sometimes a lot of people think much sooner than that. So anything above 6 months is a long time to some people in the anime community, and trust me, when you've covered anime news long enough as me, even waiting a week is apparently the end of the earth. I've seen many animes finish their airings, and then within a week, if something hasn't been announced, people are screaming that it's the end of the world and that it's never going to get another season. So that's one of the downsides about the anime community, is some parts of the anime community are very got low patience. That's why I always say, just find something else to watch, and there are plenty other things. But there is also one other thing to also note, is that, one, yes, the author has gone on a hiatus due to health issues. That is not uncommon, sadly. It is very common amongst the manga industry, and even light novels, but particularly it's shown a lot in the manga industry. The Blu-rays and DVD sales for Gushing Over Magical Girls did come out on the 2nd of April, and it was 8,114 copies for the first volume within the first week. Now that is a massive amount. Now I've said in many videos that DVDs and Blu-ray sales do not matter as much anymore, but the reason why I say that is because most of the profits don't really come from Blu-rays and DVDs anymore, because a lot of shows just don't sell that many copies but yet get sequels, and that is because most of the money comes from selling the source material, collaborations, physical copies of the actual source material, not the actual DVDs and the Blu-rays, but the actual mangas and light novels. And then of course merchandise. Merchandise is a big cash cow, but a lot of collaborative stuff like mobile games. Mobile games are constantly getting released, and they make a lot of money because of the whole gotcha system, and there's a lot of collaborations, and collaborations do help as well. But as I've also said, there are always exceptions to the rules when some series will get a extremely high amount of DVDs and Blu-ray sales, which then makes it very profitable in the actual physical copies of the Blu-rays and DVDs. And in this case, 8,114 copies in Japan is very good. Now, if that was the amount in the Western audience, I would actually just go, nah, that's nothing. And the reason being is very clear. In Japan, there isn't as much what I would call handover. So, for example, if physical copies get sold in Japan, it's generally the majority of the profits go to the studios and the publishers, while if it gets sold in the West, it has to go through licensing, translation, goes through a lot of red tape, shipping. All of these other factors then start to dwindle down the profits very much quickly. So they could sell 10,000 copies over here, and that wouldn't matter as much as if it sold 8,000 copies or even 6,000 copies in Japan. Those numbers in Japan are very good. If those were numbers in the West, I would just look at it and go, meh, whatever. Just want to be very clear there, because there are distinct differences. But as I've always said, there are always exceptions to the rules when it comes to certain things. Other variables can play a factor. I stand by what I say, that I do think Gushing Over Magical Girl Season 2 will happen. I don't think it's going to get announced anytime soon. As I mentioned, there is not enough source material. Give it a couple of years, and then we will see something. And it will be a good way to re-promote the manga sales as well, because the manga sales skyrocketed when the anime aired. Like, it went off the scales. And so by it giving some time for more volumes to come out, and then they say, for example, 2 or 3 years, give or take, announce a second season and then release it a year or so later after the announcement, the manga sales will just skyrocket again, and voila. will be back to the races again with massive amount of profitability from that standpoint, and probably more merchandise as far as figures go as well. So I still strongly believe it. I just wanted to add some additional context because a lot of people in the comments will be like, oh, but this, oh, but that, but oh, but this, but oh, but that. So wanted to put that as clarification. If anything else changes, you know me, I will announce it on the channel. So if you like this video, hit the like, subscribe, and I'll see you beautiful nerds in the next video.